I think it used 7 seconds. I don't know. I don't know. That's the new.
I believe it.
Heard
I'll
the
give
3-second
you
one. Now you heard
seconds.
Apparently.
I had to make a phone call. I'll be back.
Oh,
Okay,
Bob.
Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Say 7 seconds till the end.
I still need food.
I don't think I will stop.
Believing.
Wait, what's that picture? The one with the Texas that Chainsaw Man.
But what if it was? Kid, you can't say that on stream. Chat would faint if they could hear how much of a filth bucket you're being. I can't believe you'd say that.
This game of chicken that you play with us is amusing.
Everybody knows gaslighting's not a thing.
Yeah, sandbagging's where it's at.
True, true.
There's no emos about gaslighting. There's emos about sandbagging. Somewhere. I don't know where. Oh, for dinner.
Just a whole ham.
Ooh. That's good vinegar. I have some of this like Carolina vinegar that I got from Fish and Barbecue. That's just been here. Looking submissive and breedable. I don't know how to make my own actually. I gotta look it up.
Unfortunately.
Muffin button.
Oh my god.
But what about the muffin?
Blueberry.
Or live.
Bye, Cat. We'll miss
Later.
you.
では、前に出ます。
Hello, chat. Hard to say what it is I see in you. Wonder if I'll always be with you. I can do enough to all for you. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to Monday. Hopefully you guys got through Monday all right. It'll be one of those days. I did just get the go live tweet out. Do me the favor, go give that some love. Let me grab you guys today's sauce. Say what it is, seeing you. I'll be with you. Hello, Yugi. Yugi boy. Oh, may close this window. Okay, I did. I don't know what that thing's doing. Hopefully Aurelia stops acting poorly, but should be fine. Okay, get this party started. Hello, everybody. Here is today's artwork. Go give the artist some love. It is a very nice one. All right. So, 2 days left in the Wangina event, and I have 1 day left on Stormpod. So let's see where we're at shop-wise. That will advise me for right now. Because I should be pretty darn good. But it's actually probably the new player account that needs to grind. So we will have to double check that. Usually I actually like to back out and go back in or switch tabs just to make it more neatly organized. So technically the foes are not a huge deal, so I'm actually going to prioritize the evocation leaves for this account. To say... I think the NA account... the NA account can be done if it wants to. Because it's like, I don't necessarily need mana prisms off of that. Grab those Lancer monuments. Need any of these? There's again. Grab sabers. Oh, and that was all I was able to get of those. Okay. Yeah, it's like literally I could just keep running it, and that's probably what I will do, but let's focus instead on doing the storm pods here on this account, so that way it's kind of caught up, especially because it's half cost right now. But how is everybody's weekend? Hope everybody had a good one. Just quickly get a support, get in here. Guess I'll turn the teapots on. Outcast Restaurant, nice. Good at 9 this Wednesday, yep. Yeah, live stream should be Wednesday morning. I believe Mr. Trubbs will be covering that. If you guys haven't already, go give him a follow. What's up with the shop? Just need a smidge more silver and bronze. Yeah, I think it's the new player account is the one I need to actually like. I may have to actually like sit down and grind here with you guys on stream because I don't know that it's gonna finish, and it needs to finish. Anyone else having trouble getting on Discord from Firefox? No, but Discord over the past like 2 weeks here has been having a lot of issues, so don't be surprised by that. Do you really need more of a mat once you have 2K plus of it? Yes. Next question. But yeah, Discord's been having quite a few like server side issues and things like that. It's nothing probably on your end or even like our actual server's end. It's Discord's hosting server that is having issues. And it's basically all been the case since they did an update, I guess, to address like security concerns and like some other stuff. So probably just their way of spying on us more, but it is what it is. No earthly clue. Thank you for the 27. Appreciate the support. Chat, can we get some love? Welcome back. Yeah, it must be my computer. No, it may not be your computer at all. I mean, like, I would start like with like, is it your internet connection, stuff like that, but it has definitely been a thing. Do we expect any buffs for the Good at 9 release? Expect no. If we get them, good, right? Like, I think that's been one of the things that we need to kind of always keep in mind with buffing and FGO at this point is that you should never expect stuff. But that's just kind of been because the devs have had a bad track record, in all earnest. And Addo, thank you for the 42. Chat, can we get some more love for Addo? Appreciate it. And thank you, Burning. Thank you for the love. Thank you, AFK. At least some of you guys use my email. You get to do the new Bleacher CQ tonight. I did forget that that's a thing. So probably not tonight, but we will see. Because I have like other stuff that I'm going to do. So probably like tomorrow night. Wednesday will be another date night for me, chat. Everything on that front is going well. As far as I can tell. And then that should be the only stream interruption this week. We'll see like what streaming this weekend entails, but I know Fox has said that he wants to do more Helldivers with us. I also have Jump Space. I also have Metal Gear Solid Delta. So I've got plenty of variety content to play with you guys. So it is what it is. And I myself personally on the side have been playing Marvel Rivals again, so it is what it is. Tai Sui with the 2 side ads that are perma-stunned and heal you. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll be super hard, right? Which one should I go after if I have 120 Jalter and Jerker? You won't be able to do anything with Avenger until Ordeal Call 2, so my advice would be to, like, not do that first. So I would tell you to, like, go after, like, Berserker instead in that case. Gonna hope they buff the Shinsengumi member that came with Sinariku. You're talking about God, why? I can literally picture him. Why can't I say his name now? Keisuke, thank you. Yeah, like literally, I had it on the tip of my brain, and then I read your like hacked up spelling there, and it like made my brain malfunction. And I could not recall the name anymore after that. But yeah, Keisuke could definitely use a buff. I would definitely not argue with that. What's my current main for which? Like, are you asking like Marvel Rivals? I still kind of main support, but I can play anything, at least to a decent degree. Oh, Bond 11 on Shisho. Okay, let's go handle that. He's such an integral character with great use. How could you forget his name? True. I mean, like, I think Keisuke is the classic example of, like, you can sit there and you can be like, oh, he's not great. And Age, thank you for the big 6-0. I just saw that. I'm sorry. Jack, can we get some love for Age's 5-year anniversary? Appreciate it, my dude. Thank you for all the support over the years. But, yeah, I think, like, Keisuke is the epitome of one of those units where, like, you can sit there and you can claim the unit is not good. And somebody else can come out and be like, nuh-uh, I saw someone do blank with this. And it's like, I'll be honest with you guys, chat, I don't really care. Like, there's definitely some units, at least at this point, that are kind of behind the curve. Keisuke would definitely be one of those. That does not mean he's unusable. That does not mean if you like the character that I'm like sitting there telling people not necessarily to use him. It just means that to me, there are better solutions to any like scenario that you would take him to. And it basically just boils down to how much do you actually like want to use him. If you want to use him, go ahead. If you don't, you definitely don't need to. So it's like it's the polar opposite of like, oh, this is a unit you really, really need, right? Or at least should consider getting. Keisuke is the unit that where it's like nobody needs to consider him unless they really like him. Keisuke actually mattered a ton in history. Oh yeah, no, I like it's no mark against the character, right? It's all about like how he's been implemented. Good luck farming bells. So I actually did finish off on the new player account the first Castoria skill. So that's good. The problem is going to be that I need even more eggs and seeds, I believe. I think I'm just going to get absolutely destroyed on those two. Plus, I am currently just hard locked on needing like caster support gems. So there's nothing I can do for the skill gems in that regard. I just have to wait until it's like either Friday or the weekend, because I think those are the days that you actually have caster training ground. I did do some farming before my date on Sunday, but I didn't get to like do very much. I say that like I got enough to get the first skill done, but not like deeper. So I think it's like just off the blue caster gems alone, I still need like 24 more, which that is a lot of runs. If I'm lucky, that's 24 runs. Keisuke being meta would feel mean. I mean, honestly, you could probably run him right now, like with something like double Tiamat, and you could probably like do some pretty dumb card damage with him. The issue with, and as I've told people before, with the double Tiamat comp is that you kind of need a way to take out the first wave. So usually you want to take an AoE Noble Phantasm with double Tiamat. That's usually going to be the way you want to handle things. Not always. There's definitely other ways you can do it, but that is definitely something. Summer Marie eternally rotting. Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. If you're a year one unit and you're not, like, competitive and you've never received a buff, that is just a failure on the dev's part. I don't care who the unit is. If you're a year one unit and you have not received a buff and you are not currently competitive, the devs fucked you. It does not matter who the unit is. They have had 10 years. So it's like, that is, there's, to me, in my mind, there's no other way to look at that. It's like, when you have 10 years to buff a unit and you just willfully choose to ignore them for 10 years, I don't know what to say, right? Like, and I guess you could make the argument as like, oh, it's 9 years instead. It's like, it's point still stands. On the note of new gyms, how hard will the new player account go on Christmas Lotto? That's a good question. I do not know. That will depend entirely on like my timing and like what I'm doing, because it's entirely possible that I could theoretically reach my goal, which, as I have stated right now, my goal is to basically get through the like LB7 at least. I don't think I'll be through it by Christmas, but we'll see. Like my current short-term goal here is to keep advancing through Lost Belts and to at least get like Trom done so that I could do Christmas if I get to that point. But that then means that I will have had to have beaten LB5 and LB6 and Trom. So it is what it is. You'd have to have like 80 buffs a year to keep up, and recently it's been like 40 to 50 buffs a year, which 40 to 50 buffs a year is actually an improvement over the years where they had like 20 to 30. So it is what it is. But yeah, I've been saying for a long time that they actually need to be buffing more, and they're just not, and that is definitely an issue. I do think like when I make that statement, it comes with the understanding that there will be eternal power creep. I will say this, and chat, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I do at least feel like now we have had the power creep, and most of the units this year have kind of leveled things off. Like, for instance, is Tiamat a nice new addition that's really good for quick? Yes. Is Tiamat power creep? I don't actually think so. I don't actually think she breaks the game really in any way. So when I look at that, I go like, okay, yes, quick expanded its capabilities, but I don't necessarily think that this is like some huge stride forward in terms of like unit output. I don't think this is oh, now no other unit can actually compete, right? Hello, Yamino. How's it going? But I think like that's what I mean when I say that, is that there isn't really that huge jump anymore. I think we've kind of gotten to the point where it's actually almost a little bit difficult for the devs to power creep without just adding straight up more like damage. So what we're beginning to see is because of that, because we're in sort of a cooling off period, you actually have some of these unit buffs are now bringing them in line finally, right? Like we talked about the other day, it's like, oh, like Laratoria actually now can beat Melisyn in damage. That's good. That means that we're reaching a point of like other units are kind of getting up to like some of the top units in their class. And the more time we spend without insane power creep, the more it's going to give units time to catch up. So bringing this full circle, then the entire reason why I would say that is because essentially you now have a recipe for you maybe don't have to do as many buffs each year, because it's more about like picking up the back of the pack and carrying them forward, and with each buff you do, there's technically less pressure to do more, right? But there are still units that absolutely could use the buffs. There's still units that are absolutely left behind. But it just, I guess what I'm trying to say is it doesn't mean that they necessarily have to keep doing more buffs each year. It just really depends on how they want to handle the balance situation. Summer Marie's getting decapitated out here. I mean, you're not wrong. Summer Marie is not in a good place. She is usable. She's at least like somebody that could take out a wave for you and buff like your other male units. But beyond that, I don't really feel like Summer Marie's that good. It's a shame because she's a really like cute and interesting unit, right? I think this is why I say like certain units just could use the love and the attention, because at the end of the day, there's always someone out there that it's their favorite. Like chat, look at me with Lartoria. It's like, how many years did I have to like sit there and watch other units get buffed past Lartoria, and then basically like new units come out that were stronger than Lartoria, and then it's like, oh, Lartoria gets a buff too. Oh, but the buff actually doesn't really help her keep pace. And then finally they give her a proper buff, and she's now competitive, and then Waver gets a buff, and now she's really good. So it really just depends. But I totally understand having to wait a long time, and I empathize a lot with people that I think are, you know, God, 10 years have gone by. Is my unit ever going to be competitive? Are they ever going to be in the mix? Are they ever going to be more usable than they currently are? And that I can completely agree with and say that, like, I think if you're a 5-star, your unit should be competitive to some degree. I think if you're a 4-star, at least at higher NP levels, your unit should be competitive with lower NP level 5 stars. And then so on down the list. Like, so it's like high NP level 3 stars should be competitive with low NP level 4 stars and so on, right? And that's been the balanced state of the game over 10 years. At least that's what I would like to say, but it's more like that's been the balanced state of the game for the first 5 years where the game was relatively balanced. I think the first 5 years of the game we were pretty good. The last 5 years of the game here have been really bad for like balance and power scaling. So I am hopeful that they get it back under control. And at least to some degree, I'm seeing good signs. When's the next Seal Khazra drop, i.e. broken unit? I would take one of those names off the list. I'd say Seal's your only actual broken unit there. I don't agree that Khazra drops broken. Like, and that's the point that I'm trying to make. There are certain units that really do just like shit on other competition. Like, chat, tell me who is stronger than Seal in terms of like actual output. We did the whole comparison even to like Summer Shiki, who just came out, and Summer Shiki was competitive. Seal kind of just wins though, and that is kind of an issue there. So where Summer Shiki is going to be better is that like, oh, well, you can at least like change her NP type. So that gives her some additional utility that Seal doesn't have. But besides that, if you're just looking at raw actual output and numbers, Seal is going to win. So you have to kind of sit there and go like, wow, okay, then what do we do? How do we approach this? Like Altera, who had like 4 buffs, but only her most recent one had a major impact on her kit. So technically all of her buffs have a major impact on her kit. But kind of like you said, it's like they gave her like multiple buffs, but it wasn't what she needed. So when they finally gave her what she needed, then all of a sudden it was like a force amplifier where like everything that they gave her was even stronger. So it was just kind of dumb of the devs to wait that long to do it. If you can get blue caster gems from the 1 Gina 90 plus. Yeah, I know. I probably should be doing it. Okay, there we go. That is at least all of my storm pods. And yeah, there's the new campaigns for the Bleached Earth stuff. Which, let's see. Gotta do the high difficulty quest. And any free quest. Alright. Complete free quest 3 times in the 4th, 5th, and 6th singularities. See, the only reason I don't like these is I feel like these should be autocomplete if you've completed all of the free quests. I get it, but like, I'm like, some of these I'm gonna have to go back and find a node to do, and it's really not gonna matter. It looks like we have FP summons as a daily. Wait, Addo, did you just get a second notification? No. That is really weird. Is Olga stronger than Seal? It's a little bit of an apples to oranges, but you do have units like Olga, like Ishtar now that are like at least competitive with Seal. I think what's gonna make someone like Seal just as strong as she is the fact that she is a moon cancer, and moon cancers are not normally known for like high damage output. I mean, you have like Arcuate out there that does really, really solid stuff. But I'd say like outside of her and maybe like Summer Kiara with like all of her stuff in alignment, I don't really think a lot of the Moon Cancers really actually shine through in that regard. Did I not have any Storm Pods? Okay, it's gonna relog me. I was gonna say, I was like, hold on, I should have Storm Pods right now. Black Grail servants are also stuck at only one CE option forever. Well, like, what do you mean? Because obviously you can use other things. It's just maybe not as good. 09 Riri, thank you for the follow. Welcome. But yeah, I wouldn't say like you have to use Black Grail. Black Grail is just the strongest option, so most people will just by default use it. Dad, is it weird of me to complain that they keep just giving us like one foe at a time? Because it's like beginning to just clog my inventory. What is this? Is this C's? Yeah, okay. Guess we get to make more craft essence bombs. Do it like that. Why not collect them? I basically am. It's just like I said, it's clogging up my inventory. Either on my actual inventory or on my mailbox side, one way or the other. I should add faux fragments so they can clog it up even more. Please no. Please no. Calm down, Satan. I don't think we need that. I mean, part of it's things though, like for say like the grand stuff, like getting the 5-star foes. The 5-star foes, I'm gonna be honest, I actually don't like their current implementation. I wish it was an all foe, because the problem is it's like requiring you to use them on certain classes. And it's like, okay, so like let's say you don't really have anybody outside of like your obvious grand choice that you really want to like develop. It kind of makes it ass. Because you're like, oh, well, I guess I gotta foe somebody else in this class, but I don't care. They are all, though, are they? I thought they were class specific. Am I misremembering? It has been a hot second since I've touched them. It's the paws that are class. Okay. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Oh, fragments? You mean the 1 to 2 star foes to get an FP rolls? Yeah, I guess that'd be the closest equivalent, right? Which even those is like you shouldn't burn those until at least you're at the point that you have every unit foed, because there's no way to like farm foes normally. So that's kind of your only actual like path forward. The class restricted pause a strange decision. It really is, considering we just don't get enough anyways. Why did that do so little damage? Hold on, what did I do there? I don't get it. What did I Did I not do something? You didn't kill mobs. I never kill mobs. Like, normally this just clean clears, so I don't understand how that happened. Did you NP with Reigns? Maybe I didn't. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I just did the... Yeah, you're right. I didn't. Because I think I didn't press one of the charge skills, so Reigns didn't even have enough for her NP. Because I remember it was just Made Alter's Noble Phantasm that appeared, and now mine is Bond 11. It's actually a nice one, because I've not gotten a whole lot of use out of Reigns over time. Like, she was really good when she first came out, but my JP account has struggled to, like, mix her in at points. Okay, so before we go to Reigns, let's touch my daily story roll here. This is a double. Already a pain to get the first place. Yeah, they don't give you enough faux pas in general, so it's really just an odd decision to make them class restricted. And you need a ton of them in reality. Haven't gotten any gold servants off the free rolls? That's wild. I've at least gotten, I think, 2 or 3. I think I've gotten 2 4-stars and a 5-star. At least I think. Alright, so we needed to go Bond Grail Reigns. That'll get her bond limit open. And then I'm probably screwed on... Need to burn units? Is that what it is? Am I sitting on that many copies of things? Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's foes and just accumulated stuff. Wait, hold on. Where was I? Did you grab your Lartoria C yet? No, I did not. Thank you for reminding me. I do need to grab it. I love how chat just knows which one I'm going to take. Because it's obvious. There is an MHX one, but... it be what it be, chat. You love who you love, exactly. Wing. Okay. I got so far as Betty and Cascu copies. I mean, like, even just getting some of the 3 stars is really nice if you didn't have the NP levels or you just wanted additional coins, right? So, like, that is definitely not a bad thing. At least not in my opinion. Typhon one is so cute. I actually, like, I'm surprised they're still ongoing with the Over the Same Sky campaign. Because I do think it's a, like, really interesting thing in that regard. Okay, sorry, I'm just making sure everything's good. Czar, thank you for the 74. How you doing today, bud? We're close to the Guda Guda. Yep. Yeah, I'm hoping Guda Guda will at least be interesting. Like, because again, not gonna lie, I mean, maybe some people think like JP's been like really intriguing, but I think viewership numbers and other things indicate that like JP do be kind of dead and uninteresting right now. Like, because I guess while the writer stuff was interesting at face value, there was nothing really to it. So I think a lot of people just kind of mentally checked out. And I don't really blame them. They even did the newspaper in Japan, if I understood correctly. Yeah, they basically did like publications in each prefecture. It's really nice. It's basically what they did for Under the Same Sky. All right. This current campaign is Over the Same Sky, but Bond from the Grand Battle is great. Post summer, it's been kind of bedge. Yeah, it's just like everyone's just kind of doing what they're doing, and it's like there's nothing really like new to see here. It is what it is. Like I think this is in a similar way. Do you guys remember where we had the like the stall year where they were doing Road to 7 and everything, and you had like the super recos? I think we're at the same point where it's like everyone knows what's coming, and it's a little bit different each time, but everyone knows. And so now that it's a known quantity, everyone's just kind of bored with it. It's almost like they need to mix it up. At equal altitude with the same sky. Yes. In the clouds of the sky. Yeah, do you think they should buff Kentucky Berserker? I just got him, and his kit is kind of lackluster. Yeah, like his damage output's not really that bad. But he doesn't have niches, and he doesn't really have duration in his kit. So should he get a buff? Yeah, I think you could give him one. Like the primary one would be like quite literally just extending the turns on his attack up. I think you could easily make that 3 turns, and I do not think it would make him the most broken thing ever. Like, he would probably still lose to Castoria, assuming that. He's kind of a one-pump chump. Yeah, I mean, basically. That has always been his issue at this point. And Lilith, yeah, and Lilith. That's just like, there's so many like older units that are kind of hamstrung by their kit only being like single turn duration. And we've definitely seen a lot of stuff in the game gravitate towards multi-turn durations. So that's why, like, if you look at, like, say, for instance, a lot of the Saber faces, they also have, like, like a 1-turn mana burst. That is not as good as having a 3-turn steroid that can be doubled up. So you end up looking at the stuff and you go, like, man, this seems kind of underwhelming. And it's like, it is. That is the problem. That's why they do need to, like, go back in and take a harder look at some of this stuff. What was I gonna do, chat? Oh yeah, I need to look at foes. Okay. I have a lot of foes. So just double checking here. This is an extra copy. That is she's not. She needs it. Extra. She's not. She needs it. And so basically I have 3 units that need actual foes. Yeah. And I do not have a whole lot of actual foes. Really? Huh. Okay. News to me. The wait between Ordeal Call 1 and 2 is very, yeah. Like, dude, I pointed that out to people because people were like, oh my god, like, I really need to get, like, Ordeal Call 1 done. I'm like, yes, you should. It'll allow you to, like, farm the materials, but also, like, no, you don't really need to care because there is just so much time between the two. Like, we basically, this is our longest gap for story, I think, ever. We basically go like 10 months here or something like that. It's just kind of rough. What am I doing? Get the foes locked in. There's another single. It's from K-pop Demon Hunters chat. In case you guys were trying to figure it out. Okay, I can at least get her done. Good movie? I have not seen it. I've heard good things. Wasn't Olympus to LB6 longer? Like, in my mind, I know when Olympus came out, but I'm trying to remember exactly LB6. And that's the thing I'm drawing a blank on. So it's like, I can't answer either of those without knowing when LB6 actually came out. How much are you looking forward to our last Grail Front next month? Our last to date, right? Like this, I keep trying to tell you guys, it's like people are acting like everything's like final and stuff, and I'm like, I mean, I get it, but no, I think there's gonna be more. Okay, I do need batches of 10 for each of these. That one and that one, since they're the oldest. I always try to go in the order of like oldest foes. God. This is the only instance where the autofill's actually kind of annoying. Soundtrack's nothing but bangers. Yeah. I mean, I've heard it's really catchy. Okay, so then it's just Abby, so we need I could do batches of 20, but I think it's better to take out the batches of 10 since they just take up more space, and currently that's my problem on JP is I just have spacing issues. God. I can't believe Christmas is canceled forever and we're never getting in a million years getting another lotto. Yeah, I think that's the other reason why I like go out of my way to correct you guys on that stuff is because there's a whole lot of like dooming going around with stuff like that, and I try to say like, no, we don't know that like this will be the last of anything, right? Okay, now let's switch it back to level max. At least get these units leveled up. So again, the really nice thing about JP is you do not have to fish for embers anymore because JP has quality of life that just allows them to get all of the embers returned to them, which is so nice. This is the final Gouda, though? Yeah, where have you heard that before? So, straight up, I think that is their way of, like, pulling the Gintama meme of, like, oh, yeah, this is the final season. And then it's like it continues on for like another 100 episodes, right? Like because they just keep doing that meme. Then we have a final Gouda like 3 Goudas ago. You had a final Gouda like 5 Goudas ago. Like it's been a hot minute. Which one was final Hanoji? I think that was Gouda 4. Olympus to Avalon is April 9th, 20 to June 11th, 21. Oh, so it was more than a year. Yeah, I think the only difference there is technically Tunguska exists, and Tunguska, or wait, was Tunguska between? I think 6 to 7 was longer, but we had Tunguska in between was why. Miss Crane's actual final ascension. I do really like this outfit. I just like, I guess my complaint is yet again, we have another summer unit that doesn't feel like they're actually wearing a swimsuit. So it is what it is. But Mr. Cad, none of them had the end in their titles. True. The end. But listen, chat, from what I've learned from you guys, the end doesn't matter because you're supposed to snipe him before you ever fight him. There was Trom between 5 and 6. No, Trom should have been after 6. But we did have 5.5, which would have been Doman. What was the name of that singularity? Henkyo, thank you. Yeah, my brain blanked. Cat sniping him makes his boss fight so boring. Oh, I know, that's why I didn't. But chat yelled at me because they're like, Cad, you missed it. You could have killed him. And I was like, I know. I know I could have. So I didn't. You had Tunguska and Tron between 6 and 7, yeah. Yeah, because I was going to say, because I think between 6 and 7, it's technically like a year and a half. The definite final end finale climax, yes. Kat, have you ever played Digimon games? I have not. But I know there's a new Digimon game coming out and everyone has told me about it. Yeah, I'm not like super familiar with Digimon, and like I'm at least somewhat familiar with Pokemon, but apparently like even the level that I'm at is a travesty to most Pokemon fans. So because like I know just enough Pokemon information to be dangerous because I just keep naming the names of things absolutely inappropriate stuff. Because they're taunting Nintendo. True. Get hit in the head by wheelchair reload continue as normal. True, I guess I could have done that. I could have gotten like the achievement for it. I just realized this is an Addams Family rap. I did not realize this was a thing. How much did they pay MC Hammer to do this? Yeah, like best way to deal with Grandpa on MGS3 is forwarding the time on your console by 2 weeks. Oh, right, because he dies, isn't it? You get into the boss fight and he's just dead. Jesus, dude. Most fans stopped around Sun and Moon because it just got bad. It's like the devs stopped wanting to make fun games. I mean, I think there's still a ton of people that play Pokemon games. I don't know that I agree with like most fans, but like, yeah, I'm sure there's like a contingent of people that are like, oh man, like this is just repetitive now and it's not fun. And I myself, like, just in the couple of games that I've played for Pokemon, have already felt like it's repetitive. So I can only imagine to like the diehard people that have played like every game. Like it's gotta just feel like the same over and over and over again. Which, at least if I guess if you like really like the Pokemon at play there, it's not a big deal. But if you are somebody that's like trying to play to like have a new experience that you don't normally get, that probably is like super frustrating. Okay. How do I want to do this, chat? Okay, there we go. I was gonna say I don't know how that ended up not being full. Yeah, JP doesn't have a 120. Sorry for what? Like, are you asking like why my Lalter isn't 120? Because I have several other 120s. That's the only reason why. These are all my last Artoria faces that are not 120, chat. So I have these remaining to 120. Technically not her. Okay? So it is what it is. And I'm just sitting here basically just gold foeing even more units. Think I'm gonna do MH double XA. Do you think they'll launch the Grail front before or after the current batch of teapots expire? I don't know when the current batch expires, so you'd have to remind me. I usually I don't micromanage my teapots very much. I usually just kind of like if I have a 90 plus or a like bleached earth, I just use them. And it doesn't sound like the most optimal use, but it's because I just like get tired of having to like pay super close attention to dates. It's already like a like annoying thing in that regard, and I would prefer to not have to mind the event date, the like whatchamacall, the teapot date on top of things, as well as like various other campaign dates. Just min-max your teapots, bro? No. Can't make me. What the heck is this animation? Hello, Kong. How's it going? Okay, so that'd take me to 760, which is kind of not ideal. So let's do that. Fortunately, I think just due to the lyrics there, I have to skip that one, chat. Okay. At least that got my gold foes way down, which is really all I was trying to do there. So now JP should be donezo. NA should also be donezo for right this second. So let's go to the new player account, which is in progress right now. Always try to advance both gold foes from both sides at the same time. My OCD doesn't allow otherwise. I am not particular about that sort of thing. Okay, so this is still just the 90 plus. Sorry, technically the 90 plus plus, but free card. No reason not to. Either forget to turn them off or turn them on so that they get wasted. Teapots? Yeah, that's why I don't try to micromanage them too much. I just go and use them pretty quickly so that I don't have like a mishap. And so it's like I'm not necessarily as efficient as I could be, but I'm also not as inefficient as I could be. And so it's just kind of me hedging my bets. October 12th, you think? Oh, for the event? Yeah, I think it'll probably be on the early half of the middle of October, because I think that's what they said, right? $53. So I can do both attack ups, but I usually prefer this. Get even more charge, so that'll get Castoria to her Noble Phantasm, and Castoria Berserker will finish this off. If I can roll the new units before they expire, I will save 3 teapots to get them to bond 5 super quick. If not, I'll just blow them all. I wouldn't worry about bond 5. Like, it's one thing if you need to get them to, like, a much, much higher bond level and trying to be efficient with that. I'd say that in and of itself at face value is not a, like, big deal. At least not in my opinion. I just use teapots with all 6-slot bond Cs and the RDL call nodes and call it a day. Yeah, and that's basically the best use for them. It's like, just try to sync it up with your Bleached Earth runs, and you're good. Okay, let's see here. Oh, so I actually have a triple arch chain. I don't have the steroids anymore, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I do still have the Castoria Noble Phantasm. But that was basically all of Castoria Berserker's cards right there. So that is a really, really bad draw in actuality. I'll get decent damage this turn, but not good otherwise. Wrong version Madge. It's probably better than whatever version chat was going to try to put in. Because it is the original version, which is good. Getting 2 3-stars with this Grail Front, the last ones we're getting for the foreseeable future. Yep. Yeah, and I mean, keep in mind, chat, too, we are also, like, basically, like JP is in, I wouldn't call it, like, a dead year, but it's in a year where the pattern is known and the devs are solely focused on getting people to Part 2's finale. So that's why I think a lot of things like Grail Fronts and Low Stars and other stuff have fallen by the wayside. Because it's like, that's not their priority right now. Down the line, it may be. However, and I will say this, I think we can see that the devs have unfortunately switched over into a mode in which they're not planning very far in advance. And I don't think that's good for the game. I don't think it's like that way eternally, but I do think we're at a point where the devs just kind of are stuck doing what they're doing and they can't kind of work ahead of themselves. Money and the power, minute after minute, hour after hour. The Morshu version is the only good version. The Morshu version is probably the only incorrect version. Could have been Amish Paradise. That's true. It could have been. Amish Paradise is not bad, at least. Yeah, see, I probably need to grind this. Let's go check the shop, because oh lordy. It's weird that the main account's already done and the alt account is not. And I think I've been making too many blapples on the alt account as well. Hold on, chat. Let me reboot this, see if that fixes Aurelia. It's just like, it's stuck at like connecting my bot that runs her, and it's not like actually fixing itself. I'm a million times more humble than thou art. Lo, and I said, gaze upon thine field and see that it is barren, for I have no fucks left to give. Yeah, we're doing pretty good, but I would like to get even more. And we haven't even touched the Warhorse Horns, which, at least if there's a resource I'm not going to touch, that would technically be the best one. But I'll be honest with you, this is one of the better uses of apples that you can have. It's like, if you're going to use apples, using them to, like, finish an event is actually good. Oh. Now I have blue prisms. So I still need all the evocation leaves, and I really do want those. Those are really good to get, because there's actually going to be several units coming up here that I just kind of want to unlock. Like, the welfares coming out now out of the evocation festival are generally pretty good. However, that's making me wonder if I should do... Chat, what's the makeup of the 90+? I know it's casters, but is it, Like what's the setup? Is it like 3-1-2 or 3-1-3? Okay, I was gonna say I remember looping it with Surfmo, but let's see. Dad, I'm sure somebody has made a version of this that includes every single possible Pokemon. And that's what worries me. Um, Almost-star, almost-star, almost. Uh, the original song, I think. Oh, it is. It is. $60 charge. Still probably better if I do it this way. Yeah, 'cause she's not maxed out, so that should still be enough. Um, is this the Beverly Hillbillies? And it is. She's not gonna need help, so she can rotate in. I don't even know why I have that equipped. That's not even useful. I need to get some of these MLB, man. This is the problem with like free to play accounts is like you can get good Cs. Getting good Cs MLB is difficult. There's 50%. I don't even have his. Be fine. Let's try this for right now. We'll see. I don't know how this is gonna work, or if it even will work in that regard. We'll see. Because I don't remember what the opening wave's health is. It shouldn't be too terribly strong though. 1 year in and Black Grail is still at level 20. Listen, it can be a long time for that. That's just one of those where you're just gonna have to basically deal with it, unfortunately. So Arash will not be strong enough to kill this. He's gonna need the damage sheet, which is something I could do. Or I could just try to like double up with Morgan's NPs eventually, and that may be the better choice. So we'll have to see. This song brings back memories, man. It do. It is a good one. Yeah, so there you go. So we left this with a little bit too much health. We're just going to card this out for right now. I'll make this into a proper 3-turn. I just was not sure of exactly how to build this one because I haven't done this node since like the day it came out of the event. So it was like what, like day like 5 or 6. Okay, so now it really doesn't matter. Morgan's got the damage C on, so we'll just kind of rotate Waver out. Let it do its thing. Because Castoria Berserker should one-shot this? Should. Actually, I might be able to get away with my own Castoria. That may be something to think about. And I definitely have the damage Cs, so I can probably across the board do 3 damage Cs. And of course it didn't. Yeah, so I'm gonna need damage Cs across the board. Not what I wanted. I've been farming this one over the plus plus. I prefer the mat drops. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I think like the tilting thing here for me was mostly that my account could at the time do the 90 plus plus better than the 90 plus. But now this should be a little bit more doable, and the caster gems here do kind of make this worth. So if I'm gonna have to farm something, I kind of agree that I should be farming that instead. Okay, so I should be able to double this up worst case scenario, and that should be plenty fine. I got HP scope MLB'd before regular K scope. Yeah, my JP account, like you guys know the drill. I basically recently got MLB of Black Grail. And before that I had MLB of Rising Mudring, which came out after I started playing JP, after I got my first Black Grail. Managed to get all 5 copies of that, still didn't have MLB of Black Grail, then got my last 2 remaining ones finally after like years of waiting in pretty rapid succession, and then finally I had MLB Black Grail. It took forever for that to be a thing. Yeah, the bells here are not bad either. Ooh. Wait, hold on. I need to back out because it's going to put me in with the exact same comp. That Berserker Black Grail one, I believe my JP also has MLB of that. I'd have to double check, but I think both my NA and JP have MLB of the Berserker Black Grail. So let's switch up the composition this time around. I've been farming 90 plus because of all the drops with Scarabs was the only one that wasn't below 300, which is no longer now the case. Yeah, Scarabs, some of the gold mats you're actually fine at around the 300 mark. Because you're not going to use them in enough quantities to really have to worry about it too much. So as long as you have a decent lead like 300, it's very unlikely that you will just immediately run out. Like you could probably roll like 3 units that use Scarabs and you still wouldn't run out. So, hilariously, chat, I am only 1 drop away from getting a second MLB, and I would actually really like that. That would be very, very nice for this account. So, Waver's got less party chart. Yeah, I'm going to use my own Castoria. Because at least with the first skill maxed out there, she should be fine. And let's see. So we've got 30% here. He's got 30% himself. She's going to provide 30%. And technically, she can get at least 10% from the other remaining skill there. So yeah, just off of my Castoria's stuff, we would be fine. She'll be able to charge pretty much up to full. If not, the Castoria should complete that. So yeah, it's triple damage seed, but this should make it a like pretty automatic 3-turn. So I can't complain. Although I should have swapped out the mash in the back line. Do you have enough Rash coins to unlock his mana loading? I don't. You need a lot of copies of a like 1 or a 2-star to actually be able to do stuff like that. And it's kind of funny because I would have assumed that I would have, but I've checked multiple times and I'm not anywhere close. I just have not rolled enough Arash copies. So let's see. Hopefully this is enough to make Arash actually kill. That's the big thing I'm hoping. You know what? I'll actually just pre-card here just to be on the safe side. I'll stagger Morgan cards. So 57k is the number to beat. Damage she should basically double his output though. So it's 44k. Crap. So Arash is no go. We're gonna have to go with the double Morgan thing, which means I need enough charge to get Morgan to full. I'm gonna have to head math my crappy percentages. I've just been using Cuckoo for the 90++ after I found out she could clear. Yeah. Cuckoo was actually the first comp that I used for that. It was really funny. Because it had no business doing it. Do it like that. Should be enough. Like, this should kill with the damage, see. Rash is a problem. Don't know about that one. Maybe Grail Rash and explain grailing for all of your new account guides? No, I'm somebody that, so, and you know, at least for anybody that's watching that is like a newer player or something, I'm somebody that does not believe in grailing to get you through a node. I believe in grailing because you like the character. If you're grailing a unit that you maybe don't care as much about just to help you do a node, nodes are temporary. They will go away. Those grails will not. You will never get those grails back. Cat, what? Why are we listening to German One Piece? Why are we listening to German One Piece, chat? Why not? I don't know. Okay, so one last change here. So I gotta think, because Morgan Le Fay should have 30% charge in her current iteration. My Castoria has 40. The support Castoria has 50. So Morgan's gonna start out at 50. She herself will use 30. Means I need 20 there, and in order to get her to another NP, we need 40 there, 50 here. Yeah, without the party shuffle, this is actually kind of annoying. I would need to work on Morgan's skills. I don't think I can. Because this is 10 shy, and this is 20 shy. And I can get the remaining 10 from Castoria Berserker, but I don't have a missing 20. Would he be useful? Absolutely. But you're probably not going to see this account do grails. Probably. And I'll be honest, probably the even more effective grail would be on like Castoria Berserker. Song of my people. Crap. Do I just not have... Wait. Waivers 50. Castoria Berserker's 50. Morgan's CE has 50. Morgan herself has 30. I can steal 10% from Castoria Berserker, but I can't. I'm still like, and it's not even 10, it's like 15%. So I'm shy like actually 5% charge. It would require like some sort of like straight ass pre-carding strategy here. Because I still need the plug suit to be able to rotate. I'm trying to think like, do I have a way around this with this account? Because it's so close. It's actually so close. I can't even work on our skills even if I want to. No. That I'm not sitting through Donald Duck singing anything. That is an instant skip from me, and you're welcome in advance. Wait, Castoria doesn't use bells. Really? I could have sworn Castoria used bells. But oh no, that makes sense because she came out well before LB6 did. Okay. So I am actually safe to use these. Kind of wild. Come on, game. I'm so close. I'm so close. You're actually like kicking me while I'm down right now. Wait, hold on. 50, 50, 30. Yeah, the 20 would do it. So if I can... God, that's worth. That's actually worth. So I need 7 fairy scales and 5 bells. What about our arts up? Don't worry about that. Don't worry. This is the one that hurts. Okay, there we go. That is only like my 3rd skill at rank 10 on this account. But worth? What's up, Digi? How's it going? Also, why is this opening just sound effects? Why are the sound effects so much louder than the opening? What is happening to song requests tonight? What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me, chat? Thank you, chat. I'm gonna fit a 1-star. Matahari it is. Okay, this composition should theoretically work now. However, I cannot waste any charge. I have to do this correct or I will fail. And I know exactly how I'm going to do it, assuming it'll work. And it should, because damage C. Okay, Morgan. I know you're only in P1. I know you only have 111 skills, and I know they're not man, but yeah, it's like you should be able to kill that. Okay. The intro to Robotech was mostly sound effects and stuff. I mean, yeah, I get that at this point. I've forgotten I used my own Castoria, so I didn't use Waver. I just want to see if it works at this point. I just want to see if it works. I have to give him that. There we go. So that is a theoretical 3-turn if I just don't shit the bed and take the wrong unit. Okay. Oh, yes. Blue Caster Gem, my beloved. Oh my god. Wherever you are. It has been that long since I've seen that. Chat, I think you just like unlocked a core memory. Like, I didn't even remember that cartoon existed. Yeah, that like that actually was like kind of insane. And then this erased. This just erased it immediately. How many points to just disable song submission for the night? That is up to chat. Dear Lord, what fresh hell is this? Oh, have you never heard One Winged Ayaya? Because One Winged Ayaya is actually like a staple. Okay, so that's just shy on damage, but that'll still kill. I might be able to play that better. Now the question is, does switching from Waver to Castoria actually like hurt Castoria? There's at least one point that I can get triple arts. Every stream without fail? No. I'll be honest, I don't remember the last time I heard One Winged Ayaya. It's been a hot second since this has been played. How did that get 80? Whatever. Not questioning. No, I was saying it used to be. Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, I thought you were saying it's like it's still song requested every day. I was like, no. No, it definitely isn't. I'll take this over the AI slop. I do agree with that. Like, there's a couple of like AI like covers that I've heard that it's like, okay, that's not the worst thing ever that I've heard. And it's like decently passable in its similarity to the original. But most of them I just think are actual crap. I don't want to waste a skip on it. Probably a good play. Grant, remember, you guys can always go look at the song request list and see what's upcoming. Okay, so this is how I'll do it this time. This should actually be theoretically better just for straight damage output. And you know what? I'll just go ahead and rotate. And then this should prevent a low ball on the middle enemy. Because last time I pre-buffed with Castoria Berserkers 20%. And the easy way to understand this is in this composition, all targetable skills go on Morgan Le Fay. And so it makes it actually, like, easier to handle because of that. Always happy to hear computational plagiarism get dumped on. I just, like, I don't mind some of the AI covers, but most of them are pretty crap. Like, it is what it is. Never burn your skips without checking if we really want to slide one past at times. Like I said, I put y'all on notice, okay? If you try Donald Duck covers, I will just auto skip them. That's just triggering to me. And I'm someone that's pretty good about, like, being tolerant towards most of the, like, Mimi songs. I just, like, Donald Duck is like nails on a chalkboard to me at that point. What about Patrick Starr covers? Same. It still doesn't sound good. So it's like, I don't know about that. Yeah, I think it was Ash, like, actually, like, got baited into, like, skipping one, and then the next song was, like, either the same or something hilariously dumb. Is this the 90 plus in the one Gene event? Yes, it is. I'm just grinding a little bit on the new player account because it actually is, like, behind, so it needs resources. I'm just kind of taking this opportunity to grind the 90 plus because 90 plus drops caster gems. It also drops bells, and this account kind of needs both. So it's just a very good node for me to, like, farm out the rest of the event on. And I probably should have switched over before now, but that just kind of hadn't. I think the problem for me right now, Chad, is with everything going on in my life, it is at least somewhat difficult for me to, like, keep track of, like, minutia stuff like that. So I apologize in advance if I just, like, maybe let something like that slide by and I'm not, like, the most efficient in things. It is what it is. Still logging in, still playing every day, still trying to stream every day for you guys. At least, like, like I said, date night is Wednesday night, so I'll try to basically just stream every other day as a result. Like, I haven't actually properly taken a day off stream in a hot second, I feel like. You get confused till the next song started up with Dio again. Even getting a date is hard, not gonna lie. That girl I asked out today had a boyfriend that I didn't know about. I mean, as long as she told you that up front and just like, you know, let you down easy, there's no problem with that. But if it's like she tried to hide that, that's kind of monk ass. How's the relationship going? It's going good as far as I can tell. I focused on this note as always. I seem to need gold caster gems and bells. Yep. I mean, just in general, caster gems right now are what I need to farm, so it is what it is. I think the only caster gem that that I have not like I probably don't need more of is the red ones, but I'd have to double check that. But at least this is a pretty like calm, cool 3-turn, which because of this, I might be able to do this in the mornings before work. That is one of my issues that I usually have. Is that like, yeah, doggers? Oh, chat. If you want to see how clean my house is, redeem dog cam. I won't move the camera right now if someone wants to redeem. Okay, so it's got to go like that. 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 Wow, 4 of you at once. Okay, 5. I don't know that it's gonna stay up that long, but yeah, behold, chat. Like, it's actually like super clean in the house right now. Like, there's no tumble fur anywhere. If there is, it's right around the cage where the monsters are. There's a little bit of like food behind their stuff. What is going on? How is he sleeping upside down again? I think that's what he's doing. No doges? It's just I knew the camera was turned not at the dogs at that point, so that's why I let that happen. There's the puppers. Yep. They've been really good, by the way. Like, I am so proud of them because they have not like caused any problems lately. And Sasha is actually learning not to get on the couch. I don't know how, but she knows that if I yell at her, she doesn't get on the couch. So it's working. And they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Have the dogs been? Mine is sick currently. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, dude. Yeah, I know. Mine have been really good. I am very pleased with them lately. So I've given them a lot of love, a lot of treats. I'm trying to like really hammer that point home. Yeah, let's do one more and then I'll go check. Our Husky does that all the time. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. They'll still do it if they think that I'm not paying attention. But as long as they understand to get down, that can stop them from like... So like what they do is... And the reason why I talked about the dogs and brought it up was because like they were digging in the cage right there. And they do that sometimes either to like sharpen their claws or like find a way out. Which they have a new bottom to their cage that I replaced their old one because they had basically like cracked it and caused a hole in the middle of it. But they, in doing that, like the way they would kind of dig at the bottom of the cage, the same way they'll dig on the couch, and that just wrecks the couch a lot of the time. So I've been trying to mix things up so that that's not a thing, right? I'm trying to like teach them to get down and not to deal with that stuff. Mother works at a team for 90++ that only needs support Castoria. She's dangerously close to Bond 15. Yep. Definitely understand that problem. Husky does it all the time, yeah. Has Mrs. met the dogs? No. Your Husky's feeling okay? That's just Husky.exe has stopped working. That's all that is. And that's normal. That is situation normal, all left up. That's just them being Husker Floofs, yes. Hello, Bob. It's actually pretty tame for Huskies. I mean, with how they currently are, yeah, that's probably just Nico is at the edge of the cage, and he's just like, so it's difficult to tell, but like his foot is up. But then, yeah, I was gonna say, but then he's facing the other direction. He may have heard his name. There you go. So now you can see his head. He was basically like backwards L-shaped. Which Huskies are very flexible. They're so cute. They are. And they're really, really good dogs. At least right now. He sleeps like my cat? Oh yeah. No, that's Huskies. That is just basically how they are. Yeah, so this should be a lot. So let's go check the shop and see how I'm doing. Because I just want to make sure that we're close enough. Like, I don't have to quote-unquote finish today. But I do need this to get close enough to actual, like, finish. Like, let's go ahead and grab all the evocation leaves. God, bronze currency is such a pain in the ass. Do that. I just had the warhorse horns left for gold. Yeah, I gotta keep grinding. It's not gold. It's not what I need, I think, at this point. And maybe. But it may be better to grind, like, silver? Such an interesting mecha anime. I don't think I've seen it. I've definitely heard this opening plenty of times because it's definitely catchy. But I don't think I've seen it. So I have all of the C's turned on. It's actually kind of weird then that I'm only getting like MLB of the Gold showing up. I'll still probably do like one or two more with it, but That's just because a little bit, like I said, I want to get progress on the shop. So I think this is actually the best use of my apples at the moment, is to like sit here on this, because I'm getting a lot of things that are a confluence of factors that are really good for this account. On top of, I'm also clearing shop. And that is really, really just like ideal, because that's going to get me more statues. That's going to get me foes, resources like embers and mana prisms and stuff. So pretty much all I could hope for. First two are great. The newest one was the what the fuck moment on roids. Oh, really? Our husky is at the gate to the kitchen begging. Yeah. I have learned to kennel them when I'm cooking, because I cannot trust that they will not like try to snatch stuff right out of the skillet. And it's like, at the end of the day, if they got something, it wouldn't be the end of the world for me. But if they got it out of the skillet, they would burn themselves. So it's like, I've learned I just can't trust them with that, and that they will harm themselves out of like they'd probably only do it once and then they'd never do it again, but it's not worth it happening. My Doman's putting in work on this node? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, easily. Because you could probably take the first and the second wave. Sorry, the first and the third wave. This is actually, like, this is doing work now. I didn't want to spend the pure prisms to finish off that Kestari Berserker skill, but it was well worth it. Well worth it just for this alone. Because this enables a 3-turn. And this is why I tell people, it's like, a lot of the time people say like, oh, I can't 3-turn, but a lot of it really just comes down to account prep at times. And when you actually work on your units and you actually skill them up and you actually get them to a good point, you'll find that, yeah, all of a sudden you can 3-turn. And it's not as big of a deal as like people make it out to be. All right, streamer man, I demand quizzes from chat. I must torture them yet again. Go for it. Actually do the MLB silver there. My cat's a tripod? Oh god. So I assume he's missing a leg from something. I try and use pure prisms only when I'm trying to clear a node. Yeah, and I'd say that's not a bad idea, right? Like, because I've had people be like, oh, why don't you just use the pure prisms on like skill gems? And I'm like, well, that's actually not a good use of them, because you can just farm skill gems. I usually use it for how should I put it? Like problematic materials. So materials that I know I'm either not going to get access to very quickly, or materials that would be prohibitively annoying to farm. Versus like, oh, like a blue skill gem. It's like, blue skill gems are really in and of themselves not that bad, because you could just go sit on like the 10 or the 20 AP node and you'll get them. Like, it's not a, oh man, this is a gold mat that's never dropping. And that's where I completely understand people using their pure prisms. I don't know why, but I love the song. It's so catchy. He doesn't like any other flavor. I mean, hey, it is what it is. Like, it's probably just like the other flavors are too rich for him, as opposed to like just normal vanilla is basically just like a cream flavor at that point. Gonna build fighter, but souls are from Aquarian. Wait, what? Oh, you're saying like the last Aquarian season. The Noctune is peak, I'm afraid. I don't think you are afraid. I think you're saying that with your full chest. But yeah, like long term here, the goal is obviously, like I said, to like get through like LB7 and stuff. But short term, it's like we're working on like Castoria. We're trying to get her up and ready because getting her leveled up will just really help facilitate easing up on some of the other stuff. I never thought about that because I was worried that he had taste. He'd go over and over again. I mean, he might. I know, like for instance, not through my intention, but I know that the dogs like beer. And I know that because I threw a house party one time and they got some. It wasn't my beer bottle, but somebody left theirs out and the dogs absolutely got to it. A dog liking beer? Yeah. Why is this so low? Vote on your Saberface knowledge? I see he's testing us. Oh, now that's way louder. Ooh, this is an old one. I've never played this, but I have heard this before. These gonna get harder, don't worry. User has reached their maximum number of friends. Impossible. How can someone reach their maximum number of friends in this game? Palworld just announced an Ultra Kill collab? Wait, what? Why? And like that doesn't feel like that matches that. I guess the gun aspect, sure, but like are they gonna put the Ultra Kill weapons in Power World for the collab? That's what I'm wondering. Like what are they doing with that? Yeah, I gotta start taking MLB of the bronze. I need it more. Well, unless I go for like a full shop clear. Let's do one MLB bronze for right now. This is a classic, it is. I think I'm hungry, chat. So, Chad, I don't know if I told you guys, but I weighed in last week at like 168, or sorry, 268 pounds. I mean, be transparent. Um, because I'm sitting there, I was like, yeah, 168 sounds like I'm anemic. So 268. This week, I'm currently weighing 260. So in like a week and a half, I've already lost like 8 pounds. And that's already down from the weight that I had lost prior. It's just last week sometime was like the first time I actually stepped on a scale. So I was surprised. I don't know how, but it is it's working. And it's really nice too, because I've basically been able to fit into like smaller size of my pants. My shirts are fitting better. So it's like it's so much nicer now. Based song, indeed. Okay. Where's the nothing answer, Ash? Oh, I didn't even see. Oh, that's actually like easier than the last one. I like how somebody said a bunny outfit though. Kind of based. Madara Uchiha. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. Got my Canis Rider skills to 10 and 10 today. Hey, yo, nice. You a big Canis fan? You wish it was a bunny outfit? You're not wrong. Yeah, in a weird way, I almost think I don't need to take the bronze because I'm gonna need so much of the gold and the silver if I want a full clear that probably like bronze will finish first because of that. Just wish they would give her charge. Yeah, I've been saying that Canis Rider needs it for a while. I don't know why they haven't done it before now. But it's just the devs with their buffing strategy. Feels like it takes them forever. And I went up 6 pounds in the past 2 weeks. Ooh. Yikes. I mean, if you've been like kind of like bedridden and stuff and you're just kind of like trying to like eat to keep your stamina up, I guess I could see that. But normally I feel like I lose my appetite if I'm actually like sick. So I guess it would depend on like your actual situation. Briefly achieved all 5 stars on my second account at 10, 10, 10. That's impressive. My lures ran out. Yes. Yeah, usually that's why I'm a huge proponent of it. Like, unless it is like a favorite, like a grailed unit of mine, I will only lure skills that are worthy of it. Because you will run out. there's so much you need lures for. And it's funny because I think my JP is sitting on like 130 lures right now. But I feel like if I actually just sat down and tried to use them, I could probably use all of them. I think the limiting factor would instead be my QP. Which is a good game way, but I just lose it more than I game. Some people are lucky like that. Like, in all seriousness, this is the first time I've ever, like, in my life that I'd ever felt overweight. Normally I'm somebody that's pretty slim, but I guess just after, like, years of kind of, like, sitting around streaming a bunch, I had gotten a little too sedentary, and I think that was beginning to be a problem. Ash, you're probably wrong with this question. But I'm going to answer the objectively correct choice. Using Summer Musashi and Canis Rider to 3-turn this node for the bells. Nice. Yeah, I'm here because this is my new player account that I run on the side. This is not my main one, but it desperately needs like caster skill gems, which this is dropping, and bells. So it's like I get to clear shop and I get 2 other things that I actually need. So it's really nice. Who knows? Does he? Yeah, see, that's why I said Dash is probably wrong. Well, chat has spoken. The answer is 69. And you're looking at the best part of 500 million QP to take 5 stars to 10, 10, 10. Oh yeah, and that's not even like considering things like appends and stuff, right? Which I think that's why they started getting a lot more generous with lures. I think they just kind of knew that that was going to be an issue. At least I'm finding new people to friend request. The problem is now people can tell I've finished part 1, so I'm not getting any of the sympathy ads anymore. Who wins in a mud wrestling match? I feel like, well, like, who is she wrestling against? The correct answer isn't here. Cad wins. Yeah, it's like I was gonna say it was me. Like, and to a degree, anyone else that likes the saber faces, right? that's the win. Yeah, I don't know what these responses are. Gad, why don't I have a friend request from your alt? Because the alt is not cheating by adding players that would only say yes because they know I'm a streamer. The alt is choosing only to friend request random people that probably have no idea who I am. Basically, so that nobody can be like, oh, well, I can't do that. CAD's cheating. Now, instead, it's like, oh, well, yeah, you can do that. You can do the exact same thing as me. Because I'm just friend requesting random people and I'm getting added. Now, to be fair, I did update my supports a little bit. They're not good. But they are at least showing signs that, like, I care. And that's really all that matters. Is that triple bells? Hell yeah. Triple bell drop is like amazing. This node actually has a really good bell rate if that's the case. Because that means there's 3 enemies that probably can drop it. So what are the chances of adding someone here? I actually have seen one of my subs and friend requested him. That person has, as far as I know, not noticed that I exist. Which is hilarious. And I would have it no other way. Who are you? Exactly, Creamy. Probably just some jabroni. Precisely. Anyone else here who buys the code removers from the shop or just me? I think most people don't anymore. Like, I guess if you're like early on, it's like it's not a problem to have a couple of them, but they really are functionally useless. And I don't really see the devs at this point with how long they've been useless. I don't see the devs actually giving them a use. I wonder at this point why they even keep adding them to shops. Because I don't think it's actually worth. Ohana means family. You understood that, right, chat? What do code removers even do for someone relatively new? I mean, in theory, having like a sparse handful could not be like the worst thing in the world, but it really doesn't do anything. There's really no point. There you go, chat. That's the only Stitch impression you're getting. What is the benefit of carrying the Scalibur of Excalibur? I mean, clearly it's that you can do a barrel roll. Although technically you did not get the answer right. You used the incorrect word. You're far too good at that. I can do impressions. So one of the reasons that I don't do impressions is because, like, straight up, like, you can get canceled for stuff like that. So I just don't do them on stream, but I'm pretty good at doing some of them. Because I think, like, unfortunately, Twitch is not a good place for that sort of stuff. Which basically, like, if somebody gets, like, triggered and really upset about you, they will report your ass, and then Twitch will just absolutely, like, lay down the law on you, and you'd be like, yeah, I didn't even intend to offend anyone. And that's kind of one of the reasons I just don't. Like, in my own private life, I do impressions all the time. I do, like, funny caricatures and voices and stuff, but on stream, nope. Not worth it. Not worth the channel. It makes so people don't die even when they are killed. True. I just keep grabbing them to empty it out. I don't bother. It's not worth it to me. I'd rather be done with the node faster and go do something else. The crashes are so random. And it's definitely only been happening since I did crank up the RAM usage on this, which the game runs so much better when I crank up the RAM usage, so it's worth it, but I don't understand what causes the crash in the end. Kush tan tan. Bunny Lartoria forces you into a mud wrestling match. Now who wins here? Me. Still. Because I just let her pin me down at that point. I don't see any problem. Like, you just grab him by the trunk and hold tight. Hold on for dear life. Okay, where were we? Okay, so I was in progress on the Noble Phantasm. I think it's memory overflow. It's probably just a memory leak, is all it is. Lie back and think of England, cat. So you lost then. Yeah, I'd lose. Cat wins either way, exactly. It's a win-win. Do I remember this one? Of course I do. You have not asked anything I didn't know yet, Ash. Just saying. I got you. And I want her to crush me between her thighs. Yes. Yeah, like I'm not even gonna deny that. Like, it's just, yeah. Have you cleared the NACQ yet? Yes. Yeah, the NACQ was actually kind of fun because I brute forced it with an arts comp, but then I had to do it on this account, and I tried to brute force it with an arts comp, and it didn't work. So I had to actually, like, use functionally the immortal comp. I could solo Lartaria. No, let me solo her. I will Strip down to my loincloth and wear a bucket on my head. I'll wait for the rest of chat to answer. I know the answer, but I have to basically wait for other people to vote so that nobody can tell what I voted. Because otherwise I'm just eating. Also, chat's memeing you. I almost did a bad there. So all Castoria? Pretty much. Yeah, this will, like, in actuality, once I get, like, Morgan Le Fay, Castoria, and Castoria Berserker online, this account will just get a lot better. Because it will make farming a lot more fluid and easy, and that will then make getting other units online faster of a process. Nobody died, it was all staged. Yep, in a back room in Hollywood. Like the moon landing. I can see that that is triggering to chat. Yeah, no drops. How dare you? So let's back out real quick here and let me check. I have no idea how many of like the skill gems I've gotten, so I may have enough to do another skill, but I don't know. Moon landing was faked using a studio on the moon to stage it, obviously. Right? Like think about it, chat. When the first man on the moon touched down, how was there already somebody outside with a camera? How did they get that footage? Oof. Yeah, I still don't have enough. Oh, I've only gotten like 2 drops. Wow. That's a feels bad. So instead of needing 24, I now need 22 more drops. We've defeated Ash. He's out of questions. He has no hope. Go back out. Go back in. I think I'm going to have to do some more farming tomorrow, chat, because I don't want to sit here all night on this. We're still cooking. Okay, when you say in the story, are you including the first one that is fired before the beginning of LB6? Hmm. I'm going with what I can think of, but I may be wrong. He's thinking. I did have to think there. I told you the warm-up was coming? Yeah, but what was the answer, Ash? It was 3? Name all 3. Hence my question. Yeah, we just had the 3,200 days on JP, right? Technically, she never used it in front of the MC, so it's second-hand account. No, that's not correct. There's definitely one usage that happens right in front of the MC's face. To be fair, the one on LB5 is technically the most dubious because it doesn't look like any of her other uses of it. That's actually like one of my problems with the usage in LB5. It's actually like a rug pull. Let me organize my thoughts here real fast, chat. I gotta see. I think it's split stats. It is. Not terrible, but it's not great either. Some of these older ones, I struggle to remember exactly what they do. Okay. That one's hot garbage. Oh, wait, yeah, sorry, I'm thinking of Impieta. Chat wants to know about Wandering Tales of Shana O. It is unique. It is not my, like, go-to. Song for Ash. Damn. Yeah, I can go back. Should not be possible, but it is. Okay. God, one summer there was a point in time where one summer was really good. It's just not. That's the problem with it. Rewind. Me wanna go home. 8-foot bunch. Stars per turn, right? Yep. Yeah. Let's split. Yeah. To go home. So I know people that think that these are worth. I'm not of the opinion that they are. Eight-foot bunch. of the heirs. Not terrible, but I have a pretty high bar for this stuff. Chat, welcome to quick cranking. And they just screwed you on the stats. Nothing you can do about it. Catch Drill's the drill that is piercing the heavens. That's right. I'm trying to think, like, would this actually outweigh H&S? And I don't think it does. I think that's the problem with it. That one's not bad. Also, Miibu's like quick and yeah, Buster. Dive to Blue is also like split. Just and they have like the welfare Cs are very serviceable, but now it's like after the fact, if you're talking about purchasing them, I don't think it's worth in some of these cases. This one's all attack, I know, but oh no, sorry, it's all HP. Okay, I got this one confused with another one. That'd be a whole lot better if that were all attack. Dive to Blue versus Ocean Flyer. Ocean Flyer is no contest. Not even close. That's at least Star Bomb, but actually, let me double check this one because, as I say, I did not remember what that one was. Treefus isn't bad. Yeah, NP gen, crit damage, and stars per turn, but it's just. Think Deeper's HP. Yeah. I'm pretty positive Water Shine's not. Okay, it's at least sure hit. I'll remember that one for right now, but I don't think I'm gonna keep that one. Oh. Halloween Princess should have been one of the first ones they put in, dude. It's one of the oldest, and it would have been good as one of the first ones. But as one of the last ones that they've put in, it's not. Like, there's no reason to buy it, and it's so sad that they've done that. Ranking's still not available. Oh yeah, they're gonna hold off on that. Hunter is not bad, and it's probably what I would recommend as a star, like bomb C. Like, I actually feel like this last batch of them was really good. This one, the only issue is having to go the distance because it has no charge. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, chat. I think I'd rather have the Invuln Pierce than the Sure Hit. But I'll keep them all. We'll talk about all of them. Okay. All right, chat. So today I figured it would be a good opportunity to talk about some of the welfare CEs that are available to you now in the DaVinci Workshop that are sort of the recollection craft essences. So these are not your permanent craft essences. These are going to be things that are not necessarily going to like boost your bond level or anything like that. It's not a like account increase. These are actual combat craft essences that have come back to the shop that were old event welfares. Some of them are actually very worth purchasing, and I wanted to highlight a couple of them that I felt like were very strong. And I'm going to talk to you about each of these. Let you guys still make the choice in the end, because your mana prisms can be very valuable to you, especially newer players that maybe don't have a whole lot or are still trying to catch up. So I'm going to give you guys my 2 cents on basically the ones that I think are actually worth your attention and why, and let you guys then determine how do you want to priority order it. Usually for me, there's a couple of things that I look at whenever we're comparing combat craft essences. One, I really like to see all attack scaling on the craft essence. That's going to determine whether or not I want to actually level the craft essence up, which if we're going to be spending 1,000 mana prisms per copy and we want to MLB this, so 5,000 mana prisms for one of these CEs basically to be MLB'd, you're going to want to level it up at that point. So in that regard, there may be some considerations of maybe if you don't have as much of mana prisms at your disposal, maybe you just kind of go with something that actually would be a little bit worth your attention and maybe a little bit of utility that it can provide your account. But one of those right here at the very beginning, we have Decapitating Bunny. This one should already be available to you guys here on NA. And this is maybe one where it's like, hey, if you didn't have an Invuln PRC at all, this one's not bad. You could get it all the way MLB and get it scaling all the way up to 2K, and so it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to invest in, but it's also not necessarily even close to the best of the Invuln PRCs. This one was kind of a almost like honorable mention include in this regard. There's a couple others that I'm going to say are kind of like this, but I just wanted to bring attention that this is here. You can get an Invuln PRCE this way. And, you know, even if you just wanted to spend maybe just the 1,000 mana prisms, this would be one thing that you could go ahead and reach out and just get even just the singular copy just to have access to the utility. The next big one is going to be Golden Sumo. This one, again, already out on NA, and this is a very, very good one for a lot of reasons. So there are stronger craft essences in the game than Golden Sumo at boosting damage output. Most of those are going to be focused around things like Noble Phantasm damage. What makes Golden Sumo unique is that it's one of the only craft essences in the game that actually just straight up buffs your attack percentage, which is really, really nice. Now, this is going to be additive with other sources of attack up, so don't think that this is like taking all of your attack combined and then like percentiling it. It's not. But the idea behind this is that this is just something that will impact not only your Noble Phantasm, but also any carding that you do as well, making it a very valuable choice for a lot of people. This is a sort of one-size-fits-all craft essence, and it should be one of the first ones that you consider out of this entire list because of that. Because if you're somebody that maybe doesn't have a whole lot of really good welfare CEs at your disposal, and you're maybe newer to the game, this craft essence works in every conceivable scenario, so therefore it is a solid option. It may not be the strongest for every scenario, but it will be a decent all-rounder for you guys. It is all attack scaling, and it has 50% starting charge at MLB, making it very worth the 5,000 purchase to get it actually there, and potentially invest in it and level it all the way up to 100. Now, just a brief aside, if you've never leveled a craft essence before, it would be bad of me not to mention the fact that there is a proper way to level them, and that way will prevent you from wasting a ton of your QP. So I highly recommend checking out my Craft Essence Bomb guide or anybody else's Craft Essence Bomb guide in that regard, because that will at least save you some QP when you go to level these things up. People make the mistake all the time of just trying to like hard level like 5-star Cs, and it costs a fortune if you do it that way. So please do not do that. Go check out the Craft Essence Bomb guide instead. Next up, we've got His Rightful Place. This one's maybe not as good as some of the others, but it does exist in a sort of like weird limbo where maybe you need stars per turn, but you also need the unit to be able to get to their Noble Phantasm pretty quickly. So this one is nice because it's an old welfare CE from basically the original Fate Zero event, and it gives you starting charge and stars per turn. So it gives you the best of those two worlds. It is not a craft essence really that you actually want to level up because it is split stats. You're not going to get a whole lot of benefit. Again, this game is damage meta usually, so it's rare that we'll see craft essences that you actually want to invest in that are HP scaling. This one just, again, is probably best left at like level 15 where it'll be when you MLB it. And at least at that point, then you would have that kind of hybrid sort of charge and stars per turn. So it is a tenuous one at best, but it is a decent option if you kind of have the mana prisms to spare. Next up, we have sort of the original meta CE in the game. The thing that kind of replaced Golden Sumo as like, this is what you should be running. Holy Night Supper, or Holy Night Dinner as it is called. This one is an all attack scaling CE. You guys can see it. MLB, it has 50% starting charge, critical damage of 15%, and Noble Phantasm damage up of 15%. This is really nice for a couple of reasons. One, this does work for Noble Phantasms and critting as well, not necessarily base carding like Golden Sumo would, but this one's going to provide a lot more scalability. Over time, Noble Phantasm damage had been a rarer sort of buff to have in the party, so having something like this meant it usually scaled multiplicatively with other sources of like attack up and card type up that you had. Nowadays, Noble Phantasm up is actually pretty darn common, but it's even more valuable due to the existence of units like Oberon that actually double up any source of NP damage. So if you are running an Oberon, this will, at least in the turn that he uses his third skill on somebody that has this equipped, this would double up this source of NP damage from 15% to 30% for that turn. This makes this a very strong craft essence, but even without Oberon, this is sort of just the baseline craft essence that every other like high octane, high damage craft essence is going to get judged against, because it has been in the game for years, and it is definitely one that is worth having. In fact, we can still make certain arguments for units like quick units where maybe they don't have as good of a stable of craft essences, that Holy Night Supper might still be the best CE actually for them. Next up here, we have the Merciless one. This one's a little bit more niche, but this one is sort of like Battle of Camlan on steroids. This one is all attack scaling, though I don't necessarily recommend leveling it all the way up. But what this one's going to do is it's going to grant yourself an on-death activate buff that will charge the party's NP gauge by 20% at MLB when the unit is defeated. Also increases buster performance of the unit by 15%. So this gives at least some combat potential maybe before the unit goes down, but it is going to have the higher cost associated with it, so it's not necessarily like the end-all be-all, but it is a unique variant of the sort of Battle of Camlan charge on defeat type of CEs, and it's one that a lot of people don't have because it was from very early on in the game. So again, it's your choice as to whether or not you wish to spend mana prisms on something like this, but it is here and available to you should you so choose. Next up, we have Golden Catches the Carp, or Golden Carp figure here. And this one is another interesting one because this is a starting charge CE, but as opposed to his rightful place where you had starting charge and stars per turn, Golden Catches the Carp will have starting charge and star bomb. This one to me is a little bit more useful and usable because what this means that you can have somebody equipped with a star bomb on entry type of CE. So this can either happen turn one or whenever you rotate the party to bring them in. And then it can also act as a starting charge increment to get somebody to their Noble Phantasm very quickly. So I usually will use something like this far more than his rightful place. And it can be really helpful for, say, rotating a support in, but also getting that same support to their own Noble Phantasm. So I do really like Golden Catches the Carp. This is probably the best Star Bomb option that you guys could go for here. There will be one other in this list, but this one is at least worth your interest. That being said, our next one up here is one that nobody should miss. That is to say, everybody should grab this one eventually, and that is Ox Demon King. This CE is pretty infamous at this point, and JP has actually finally now here in the past year or so released other craft essences that are similar to this in effect, but still not the same. So what does Ox Demon King do that is so strong? It is all attack scaling, and it will, whenever you enter the field for the first time with the unit that has it equipped, just increase the entire party's buster performance at MLB by up to 15%. For 3 turns. So this is effectively like Merlin or Waver's Bond CEs, except Ox Demon King can be put on anyone. Now, their Bond CEs don't expire. The only requirement is that they have to be in the party. Ox Demon King does have a 3-turn limitation, but it is very strong and completely unique in the fact that it is the only CE that can give card type up like this, at least for now. So we'll see in the future if JP starts adding even more of these. Right now, JP added a C that does the exact same effect, only attack up. We'll see if they start adding the other card type up types of CEs. But still, after years and years and years, this one is unique. And if you were lucky enough to be around for the original event, or even its rerun, you might already have 2 copies of it. This would allow you to potentially get a third. Also, similarly, if you weren't around for those, this will be the only copy that you could get. So again, this is why I say this is one of those ones where everybody should consider getting this one. Whether or not it's the first thing you buy out of the Recollection shop, that is your choice. That is your prerogative. But this will make any buster comps that you do have more damage potential than they otherwise might have had. And it'll only come at the cost of a craft essence on, again, one of your supports. So it is a very, very nice CE. Next up here, we've got Hot Springs of the Moon. This one is another kind of honorable mention to me. It is basically all attack scaling and critical damage up of 25% with stars per turn. Looking at like challenge Cs, maybe Cs where you're going to get drained or like, you know, you just are going to be more focused on the long-term performance rather than the short-term. Be a decent C to put on somebody that's going to be needing to do a lot of critting, maybe not as much noble phantasming, but this could at least help facilitate that sort of like star engine and giving them the stars per turn, as well as increasing their crit damage. To me, this one's not nearly as imperative as some of the others, but I would say this is at least a decent option for you. And there will be some like this that I don't mention here. There are other options. If you guys are wondering why maybe some of these get left out, don't worry too much about it. Again, I'll probably say this at the end, but there will be other Cs on the Recollection list that are still worthy of your attention just due to their uniqueness. Take a look at all of the craft essences and you might like what you see. Next up here, we have Traces of Christmas. This one's kind of been a staple for a lot of people for quick looping. And the reason why is because it is all attack scaling, it's starting charge of 50%, and it's quick up of 10%. However, instead of like some of the other Cs that are out there where you would maybe get NP damage up, this one gives you NP generation up. Now, interestingly enough, quick has a tendency as a card type to greatly benefit if it's trying to loop from NP generation. However, a lot of units might not need it. So wherein is the actual cutoff for where the CE is good? It kind of lives in the realm of, hey, you were better off using this CE if the extra NP generation actually allows you to reach a better charge threshold than you would have otherwise been able to. And therefore it allows, you know, the composition to change or like what sort of like craft essences or units you're using alongside. So at the end of the day, I think Traces of Christmas is a good CE, but it is not like the best quick CE out there or anything like that, though it is in the running. I think this is just sort of the issue that we have with quick CEs overall. There's a lot of them that are just not like good options, and it's kind of because the devs have hamstrung them a little bit. But still, Traces of Christmas, if you're looking for a good solid 50% charge C for quick, this one can be very serviceable for you and definitely one of the better options that is out there. Heavenly Demon Princess is also kind of in a similar situation to Traces of Christmas, where this one is going to be starting charge 50%. It's all attack scaling and NP damage up of 15%, but it'll be 20% extra crit damage on specifically arts cards. So this is sort of like an arts specific variant of Holy Night Supper. It is not a bad C, it is really good, but Holy Night Supper will work on every card type of unit. Heavenly Demon Princess could be used on every card type of unit, but it will only get that crit benefit on arts cards. So it is a little bit more restrictive. There are other variants kind of like this where it's like, oh, instead it's a buster up. So at the end of the day, this one can be a very good one to pick up for you if you're just looking for another solid 50% starting charge CE with like damage boosting capability. But it is not the best one on this list, and we will get to that one shortly. Watershine was another sort of honorable mention here. If you're just looking for a sure hit CE, this one could be a decent option. It's sure hit, critical damage up, and 4 critical stars per turn at MLB. It is also all attack scaling. But to me, not necessarily the best CE out here, and not something I would necessarily make a priority unless you just desperately needed something like this. This would be another good candidate for like, hey, maybe you spend the 1,000 mana prisms and get just one of it if you're that desperate. I would not necessarily go after MLB. Next up here, we have Ocean Flyer, and Ocean Flyer is going to be one of the best ones that you can get. Unfortunately, this one is one of the more recent additions to the shop. So JP has this NA. It will still be a hot minute before you can get this sort of thing. But Ocean Flyer is very, very solid. It is technically the game's strongest 50% charge arts craft essence at the moment. And the reason why is because it actually has very little arts up and a whole lot of NP damage up. This is sort of the arts variant of the CE cranking or first day of filming, depending on which server you're playing on, where that one has the exact same effects, only 8% buster up instead of 8% arts up. These are sort of the meta CEs at the moment for 50% charge Cs. They are the hardest hitting ones. And again, they are also all attack scaling. So you do get a small amount of the card type of your preference there. You do get NP damage up of 15%. And you do get starting charge of 50%. So this makes it at least as far as Noble Phantasms are concerned, a slightly better Holy Night Supper. And that therein is worth your attention and something that should be considered. As we mentioned before, Holy Night Supper is sort of the baseline. So if it's better than Holy Night Supper, that's a good thing, and you should be paying attention and considering getting it. So again, if you want a really good Arts CE with 50% charge, Ocean Flyer, pretty much the best one on the list to date. Next up here, we've got Hide Hunter. Hide Hunter is also sort of an honorable mention. If you're looking for another Star Bomb CE, something that's maybe a little bit more like challenge-oriented and performance down the stretch, Hide Hunter is all attack scaling. It does give the 20 crit star bomb in MLB when you enter the field, but it's also going to give you 20% critical damage and 20% NP gain. So you'll kind of be able to keep like doing it, getting back to Noble Phantasms, critting harder. So it is at least an interesting option for those of you guys that like the challenge side of the game a lot more. Hide Hunter could definitely be a really awesome pickup for you, but the choice is yours as to whether or not to prioritize this. Aerial Drive at the moment is going to be your best buster 50% CE in this grouping. This will be better than Holy Night Supper for Noble Phantasm damage, but this is not as good as Cranking, which has yet to enter this shop as of the recording of this video. If later on Cranking does enter the shop, it is a better option than Aerial Drive, but Aerial Drive is still a very solid option to have and very good, so I do recommend picking it up if you don't already have it, but maybe you're already somebody like that has Cranking or something like that, so it's less of a priority, but still, you're probably going to want to consider things like the Olga fights down the line where you do have the restriction as to which craft essences you can use. The more options you give yourself, the better off you'll be. And Aerial Drive is another option in the same vein as like Traces of Christmas and Heavenly Demon Princess can be other options besides just Holy Night Supper. Because you're not going to be able to take repeats of craft essences when loading out for things like that. But that is a very niche scenario. It's not something that's going to happen all the time. So again, it's your choice as to whether or not to prioritize stuff like this. And last, but certainly not least, especially for the challenge community that likes to do solos and stuff, Maiden Halloween is the game's best healing craft essence that you can ask for. This is all HP scaling, and in that regard, this is actually a good thing because what this does at max limit break is this original Halloween CE is going to grant you healing received up by 75%. So every source of healing up while this craft essence is equipped will be increased by 75%. This will work on skills that other people use on you. This will work on Noble Phantasms that allow the character to heal. This will also work on things like command codes. So this could be very lucrative for doing things like solos. Where this will not necessarily work is this will not work in an environment where you're trying to say like, hey, I've got somebody that does it in an AoE healing Noble Phantasm. It will heal the unit equipped with this by more. It will not heal other units by that much more. So it's not healing output. It is how much healing specifically the character equipped with this will receive. But still, it is a very, very strong C, and I myself have personally used it to solo things at times. You can load out your command codes to be pretty much an all-healing slot, and just kind of laugh as you out-heal a lot of bosses, assuming you can mitigate their damage in some way, shape, or form. So, again, this is a very, very strong C. It's definitely worth your attention, definitely worth your mana prisms if you feel like this is something that you would use. So, again, that is my listing of all of these craft essences. And like I said before, about halfway through, they're not all the good craft essences here. These are just some of the better ones that I considered, but there are some unique niche use ones in the recollection CEs that you guys can choose from. So take a look at all of them, and you'll definitely denote that there are a couple more that I did not mention here that may be interesting to you. But at the end of the day, these I think are going to be the best ones that are best worth your attention and your mana prisms. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is there one that I left out that you think I should have included? Or do you think I kind of hit the nail on the head with these? And again, good luck on your journey through FGO. I hope this helps you guys, and I hope it gives you a priority order at least for how to attack these. Thank you all for watching. I will see you guys for the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Later. Have a good one. Got. Ugh. My voice. It also has the second best Artoria. What are you talking about? Ox Demon King with Lalt? But yeah, I wanted to get to that one before we did anything. Did I say we were gonna start LB2 tonight, chat? I did. Okay, so I guess we gotta go start LB2. I did tell chat we would start it. Which would you say is the best quick C? It really depends. That's why like a lot of people feel like Traces actually is, because Traces is at least all attack scaling, gives 10% quick up. To me, I think at that point I'd rather use something like Holy Night Supper, assuming I don't need the extra like Noble Phantasm generation. But it is weird in that regard. There's kind of like no winning, basically. Please tell us why. The Bark SC. The Bark SC also has like charge and healing up. It's kind of like a hybrid of a charge C and Maiden Halloween. I tend to prefer Knights of Marines if I can get it. Yeah, Knights of Marines is arguably I think the best, which is kind of wild because Knights of Marines is from Summer 1. So it's the mistake that they let through where they're like, oh shit, we made an actually good quick C. Which Bark C? It is the one from Christmas. The one where it's like her and I think Gawain, and they have like the turkey in front of them, and Barghest is like gonna cut it. Like I said, it's starting charge and healing up. It's a berserker already to begin with, and I'm just like, oh. Yeah, I think we'll just do that. How bad could it be, right, chat? Why do the devs hate quick so much? I don't really know. I mean, like, I've had the concept before of like, oh, it's a quick boogeyman, and like they're afraid to make quick too strong, and that like they know that something's coming down the line. But I think the quick boogeyman is debunked at this point because it just is what it is. I mean, if you talk to certain challenge people, they will tell you that they feel like quick as a card type is the strongest. I don't know that I necessarily agree with it, but I think where their point is coming from is usually along the lines of they are trying to emphasize like min turning and things like that, which are It's sort of like an extreme version. It's like trying to like record a like challenge quest where you're trying to like do it as fast as possible. So almost like a speed run, right? So there's going to be like multiple failed attempts, and you're less focused about like individual performance and more about like how you can do it in the fastest way possible. And in that environment, Quick can be very strong. The downside is that Quick is RNG as shit if you're going to play it like that. So that's why I don't agree with that take. Is because I think like there are other card types that I think just handle things better if you want consistency. Those are the sorts of people it's like they don't care about consistency. They only care that there was one result that was peak. So it's like Quick has the greatest potential, but Quick is also like not as consistent in a lot of cases. So it does depend on what you're trying to do. I think we just send this. Going from one ice level to another. Thanks, I haven't had the She Show one MLB. Yeah. And a lost belt that seems like famous last words. It is what it is. This lost belt will be interesting because I believe this is the first instance of force support. So this one will be an actual test to see, like, can I get through this? If this one doesn't cause me problems, I'd be willing to bet I go straight through all the way to, like, LB5. If this one does cause me problems, I'm in trouble. Okay, maybe like that. All right, there we go. We got our first giant ring at least, which that is a new silver mat that will be available to us as of LB2. You need a pesky amount of those at times, so I will not at all be sad to start collecting them and have them become available. And that's a little bit with each lost belt that we do. We're going to gain access to more and more of the harder to get materials. So that's going to be kind of how I'm going to approach this. You know what? I think here's what I'm going to do. I am going to come down here, go to edit party. I'm going to go copy party. And yeah, this is the current one that we're on. And we're going to copy this to party 3. Then I'm just going to switch over there because that way the composition that I'm using for the node in the event will not get ruined by that. And I can just kind of switch things up as necessary. Actually invert it like that. Yeah, it should be fine. But yeah, LB2 is going to be the actual like first major test as to can this account handle force supports. Force supports are where you have to say, okay, is my own account actually good enough? And if not, that's your sign to go like farm. Because you're not going to be able to use a friend support in some of those scenarios, and you're going to be just stuck. If you can handle it, your account is good enough to be able to like change itself up and handle having to take a like story unit. If you can't, that's going to be, like I said, your sign to go farm and to go work on your account. force supports can get people locked in at times. My honest to God recommendation is if you really feel like you're struggling with a force support fight, you can try to at least like command seal and like blue prism your way through it. But I would try to like if you mess up the first time, don't just go like, oh, I'm gonna pop command seals right away. Try to give it your earnest like shot to figuring it out. And only then, if you can't, but you feel like you're like still close to winning, that's your sign to go ahead and use like command seals and stuff. If you're not even close to winning, my advice, do not brute force it. Go back, start working on things. That just means your account's really undertuned at that point. And I'll be honest, my account is really undertuned. I just have very, very strong units. But at least my account should have the capability of handling, how should I put it? Like, it should have the ability to handle boss fighting. That will be this account's strength. However, there is a boss coming up that will start employing buff block on me, and that's not going to be good. Thank God, more seeds. I could certainly use every seed that the game can throw my way. Because that is, essentially, they are kind of just a pain in the butt for me to farm, as I have tried. But I'm also, like my main priority right here is trying to get Castoria finished. If I can get her done, we're good. Petition to change starter account designation to Luxac account? No. It's not that Luxacky. It's a question mark fight. We have Sherlock here as an option. I'm going with ye old sort of berserker lineup again. This may already be a Valkyrie fight. I don't know off the top of my head. Again, I still really have not like used a guide at all. I think the only time I even looked up what health values and fights were coming up next was in Solomon Temple of Time. The other reason I did is because I just wanted to make sure that I got it right and didn't like skip something. Okay, so we have a 600k HP Sigurd. I probably don't have to kill him. I probably just have to break his bar. So this will make it a little bit harder considering we are using an AoE, but it shouldn't make it impossible. The real question is going to be, does Sigurd just actually like insta-give me? Sigurd is a unit that hits very hard. He is known for his just really high attack power, even amongst all sabers. And he has 100% crit damage modifiers in his kit, so you have to be a little bit careful with him. In fact, in that regard, the fact that Ibuki is giving him crit chance down is really nice. Okay. Gonna use that, give myself some healing, plus the damage cut should help here. Feel like I'm about to be punched with swords, pretty much. But yeah, no, I mean, like, I'm not gonna argue that this account has not, like, gotten lucky. It definitely has, but I still would contend that chat actually is, like, overrating the luck of this account, at least some. It is not absurd to get units in low amounts and to have it happen repeatedly. I think like what's kind of nutty about it is that like I've planned it so well that it's happened on like just such an onslaught of like pivotal units. That was just kind of the banners that happened this year though. And in that regard, I could not help that. It happens and it is what it is. Makes a big difference if you get a good start, though. Oh, it absolutely does. Absolutely. But still proof positive that it can be done. And if you don't get lucky, it's not the end of the world either. It's just might take you longer to do certain things. Sabers. So this one's going to be Sigurd probably again. That is my sign. Gonna throw in Castoria there and watch the game change up what I'm actually facing. I think that was just I had to maybe survive against Sigurd for long enough, which is kind of hilarious if that's the case. Okay, let's try to defeat Sigurd here. I'll hold off on doing the plug suit attack buff because I can get even more like buffs in alignment here. And as long as Squirtoria doesn't actually like refund too much, I should be fine. She's gonna refund too much. Yeah. Now she's back at full. You know what? I'm going to do it anyways, just so that I can get the benefit of all of the buffs. Right now, Castoria for me is basically 10-2-2. Not exactly stellar in terms of her skill levels, but she is at least got that first skill online. That's the pretty insane 30% party charge skill. It's gonna be really, really nice. Next priority will be getting her targetable 20% charge skill maxed out. Then she'll become an actual 50% charger. And then, ironically enough, last will actually be her arts up. Her arts up is still very, very strong, and it's something you definitely want to level. But in Castoria's case, I determined that this account is not necessarily like the best looping account yet. So it's a good idea for me to focus on brute force charge tactics, because that will be what will benefit me the most in the short term. There you go. We made quick work of Sigurd. Not really a huge problem. However, I will point out that this is going to be a lost belt that will at least test your need for archers. If you do not have a good archer equivalent or some way to deal with them, because again, you're not always going to be able to take a friend support in this lost belt, my advice is to start working on that. More giant rings, more pure prisms are always welcome. And already to section 3. These early lost belts, the story actually goes by pretty fast and is really a nice change of pace from some of the earlier chapters of the game, where the singularities kind of felt like they dragged on. These will still feel like they will drag on if you're reading through them, as you should. But it's kind of a nice change of pace for in terms of like how many battles you have to do, because you can see there's a lot of like 0 AP nodes getting mixed in, which are just story like nodes. So this one's a 5 AP. You'll actually have to fight it. Gonna go ahead, take it, Ibuki Berserker. Done such a good job of carrying us through already. May as well just continue. There are going to be a couple things you're going to have to worry about, both here and even moving forward into the future. There's going to be some particularly nasty boss battles now that we're in Lost Belt. Lost Belt is as far as I'm concerned, the hardest stretch of the game. There is a part beyond it called Ordeal Call. That is where NA currently resides and JP is about to finish. But so far, Ordeal Call has not been as difficult as Lost Belt. Lost Belt has some of the game's toughest fights. So, particularly when you start getting to Lost Belt 5 and Lost Belt 6, that is where a lot of people feel like it begins to peak. Even Lost Belt 7 has some pretty difficult stuff, but I feel like at least by the time most people get to 7, they're pretty well equipped to handle it. So the gauntlet is going to be like as you start moving forward, but that does not mean that it's not hard before that point and that you won't find points at which the account kind of stonewalls you. So you have to be a little bit careful with how you operate because, again, it's no guarantee that you get through if you haven't developed your account. At the end of the day, all I can try to tell you guys is like try to work on certain units that you feel like are going to be very strong for your account, particularly if you feel there is a deficiency. Like I said before, this Lost Belt will test your capability to use archers. If you don't have good archers, you might struggle. Though you should already have some decent options, at least for having gotten through Camelot. But if you didn't, it's fine. You could take story support at least all the way up until now. So I do understand how that sort of thing can happen. Now, as you move towards, like, let's say LB3, LB3 is a little bit of a different beast. You're going to be facing a pretty nasty Berserker, and that will not be the last time either. You will also face potentially a nasty Assassin. So, actually, multiple nasty assassins. So, having a good caster on your hands can really help things out. Sorry, got more teapots there. At least he's not burning me yet, yeah. But, and again, like, honestly, even just in this Lost Belt, you'll still encounter pretty annoying, like, caster, pretty annoying, like, lancers, and technically assassins at times, but it is what it is. You should use some of those, Deontay. But no, I think like going through the story of the Lost Belts will test your account. And don't feel bad if you struggle. This is the point at which a lot of people will begin to get stuck. Maybe not in some of the earlier Lost Belts, but it's still been known to happen. I've gotten the question numerous times over the years, people being like, hey, Cad, I'm stuck. How do I get through this? And usually I ask them like what part they're stuck at, what fight. I ask them, you know, like what units they have leveled up that are actually going to help them win that fight. And if they don't have something, that's a sign that they maybe need to do something about it. So, even in some cases, you'll see Lost Belts will begin to test the depth of your account. There will be certain instances where you will feel like you don't have enough of a certain class because a fight will go through more than one of your units. And that can be a little bit challenging for people, especially people that are, you know, in a similar boat to me where they've maybe fast tracked a lot of stuff. They've maybe just kind of relied on like a hard support carry where they've maybe got like one really strong unit and all of a sudden that one really strong unit is not a good solution. That's how people end up getting frustrated. My advice to you is simply just not to get bummed out by that. It does happen to a lot of people. And it will probably even happen to me as somebody that is a veteran of the game. So don't worry about that. It's just natural for that sort of stuff to occur. Just try to do your best. Try to work through it. Try to go farm other stuff. And don't fret getting stuck necessarily. Remember, you do have things like command seals, blue prisms. All of that can help you get through a fight. Command seals come back all 3 each day, which is really nice. That was a recent addition on JP that very quickly came to an A as well. So we did not have to wait the full 2 years to get that, which is really, really good. And I think, honest to God, it is a very positive change that does help players move through story faster if they just maybe are just shy of being able to complete a fight normally. Good old question mark. So still more berserkers, probably just more of the Jotun, aka the giants. Just kind of keep cruising right through. No reason not to, basically. And again, keep bonding your backline units. Like I've mentioned before, your goal is to get everybody to bond 5 eventually, including all of your low stars. That'll help you unlock like strengthenings and interludes for them. Obviously, you still got to level them up, but it's not too difficult to actually get that done. Short term, it'll take you a while, but long term, it's actually not that bad. Who put in this goated song? I did. Doing pretty good, JC. How are you doing tonight? Everyone pound your feet to this phenomenon. Listen, I can't help that I have good music choices, chat. Busy cooking. Oh, nice. What are you cooking? What are you making? Two enemies. Let's rotate for Castoria. Right now, because I have Castoria's first skill max, you still get that 30% charge, but this skill is barely touched, so it's basically a 10% charge skill. Technically like 12% or something, but essentially, usually you're going to be working with block charges, so it's not as big of a deal. I'm kind of just going to go ahead and pop everything, because I don't have very much charge otherwise anyways. And we're just going to go ahead and send it. I'm going to try to kill both these giants here. Since it's a 2 out of 2 node, I don't have to worry about waiting. Brought me back. I remember discovering this song from a Soul Eater AMV. I probably saw the same AMV back in the day. Because I'm pretty sure I also saw this from an AMV. Still a good song, though. Pecan pie challah. Okay, so I'm not familiar with challah. What is challah? And strawberry shortcake. Strawberry shortcake sounds delicious. There is near my area a strawberry festival every year, and they have such good strawberry shortcake. I'm not normally like a big strawberry shortcake guy, but like if I get the opportunity to get it there, oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I'll eat it. Probably more of the same. Keep continuing. And these are your fodder fights to a degree. There's definitely not as much of them in Lost Belt anymore, but they still do exist. And it's good. It's like, you know, they kind of increase the health value stuff, so it's a good account check to see, like, how good are you doing? Are you able to work your way through and stuff like that? If you start struggling on the fodder fights, that's maybe your sign to, hey, like, go work on some stuff before shit actually hits the fan. She'll probably easy clear that, so I'm going to take the AoE charge. Jewish version of bread. It's sweeter than normal bread. Okay. I mean, I feel like there's like plenty of breads that are sweet, you know? I'm trying to think of like, I mean, like, heck, there's like banana bread and stuff like that, right? You can actually see I'm down a command seal right now. That is just because I was farming earlier and I had a mess up. That will not get her to full because this is only a rank 2 skill. Let's pop that as well. Could be one of my best chances to just stack wipe them. But I will keep some left in the tank in case I need to drop another NP here. Covered in an egg wash. Interesting. May have had it before and just not realized what it was called. I've definitely eaten my fair share of Jewish food. I had friends growing up that were Jewish, and I'm trying to remember, but I feel like I've been somewhere where I had it as well. But I guess, like, I'm bad in the fact that I'll just be like, ooh, that looks tasty, and I'll eat it, and I wouldn't necessarily, like, ever figure out what it was called. It's one of those things where sometimes as well, like, trying to be adventurous with food, maybe the less you know, the better. Not knowing what's in stuff. But I am not nearly as adventurous with food as my brother is. My brother absolutely will try anything once. Whereas I will go like, some of that's just not for me. Amazing French toast. Oh, nice. I mean, I guess that makes sense, right? Because, like, isn't half of what you do with French toast is, like, basically, like, coated in egg? So, I get that. Gonna see it spelled out. Yep. Actually, Jay is right, chat. It is 11 o'clock. We didn't get too far into LB2 here, but we'll stop here. Tomorrow I will absolutely have to grind more in the Wangina event, but that won't be the entire stream. So we'll see. Wednesday is the new Gouda Gouda event. I will not be streaming Wednesday, though, as I mentioned before. So you'll probably see me, again tomorrow, and then not until Thursday. But I'm just trying to think of, like, how to handle that. Well, we'll see. I'll let you guys know, but either way, thank you guys for watching. Let me see if there's anybody we can spread the love to. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna send you guys over to Mr. Sideswipe. He is streaming some of Dying Light: The Beast, which, thanks to Prophet, I also have. If you guys haven't seen it, it is the new Dying Light game. They kind of snuck this one out. It did not have a whole lot of, like, advertising and stuff, but so far it actually looks really good. So, again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being here. If you haven't already, join the Discord, subscribe on YouTube, and follow me over here on Twitch. Always happy to have you guys. I will see you guys for the next one. Go give Side my love. Have a good evening.